great science fiction, the world of tomorrow should always shed some light on the issues of today. A story told from the perspective of the future can be humorous and satirical, but it can also be uplifting and inspirational. And it's rare to get a perfect blend of everything, which is what makes a show like Futurama so significant. Futurama premiered on March 28th, 1999, created by Matt Groening and written and developed by David X. Cohen. And it tells the story of Philip J. Fry, a 20th century pizza delivery boy who's cryogenically frozen and thrust into the retro-futuristic world of the year 3000.
God, it's the future. My parents, my coworkers, my girlfriend. I'll never see any of them again. Yahoo!
And it took that grand sci-fi adventure concept and weaved it into a heartwarming, character-driven sitcom. Futurama could have very easily been a formulaic workplace comedy set in the future, but with its incredible world-building, interesting thematic exploration, and all the meme potential you could ask for,
Shut up and take my money.
It was able to subvert the expectations of being just a 31st century Simpsons clone.
I love the American family, and so with The Simpsons, that was my take on the American family. So what I've done to the American family with The Simpsons, we're going to do to science fiction with Futurama. We poke fun at all the ridiculousness and the absurdity of science fiction, and at the same time, we honor it.
Hail science!
Futurama has a genuine love of science and science fiction, and that's no surprise coming from a creative staff that's been dubbed the most overeducated cartoon writers in history. With 3 PhDs, 7 master's degrees, and over 50 collective years at Harvard University.
We had several actual scientists in our writing staff. I was a mere master's degree in computer science, but we had Ken Keeler, PhD in applied math, Bill Odenkirk, PhD in chemistry, and Jeff Westbrook, PhD in computer science. So if those guys couldn't answer it, then we made something up.
Bringing science and mathematics into the writing adds a stronger logical structure to the stories being told. Take the episode Prisoner of BENDA, for example, when writer Ken Keeler was given a chance to design and prove his own mathematical theorem to solve a body-swapping scenario in which no 2 characters could swap minds more than once. The episode was unanimously acclaimed for its intricate plot and complex writing, and it earned Keeler his 2nd WGA award. The first, as well as the first for any animated project, went to the 2003 episode GODFELLAS, in which Bender becomes his own microcosmic god, much like the famous sci-fi novella by Theodore Sturgeon.
You know, I was God once.
Yes, I saw. You were doing well until everyone died.
Futurama offered so many interesting insights into life, and it used more than just humor to entertain its audience. I don't laugh as hard watching Futurama as I do when watching something like South Park, which had an episode similar to Godfellas where Cartman is worshipped by a race of seamen. People.
They think I'm God. Yes! I am God of the sea people!
And where South Park used that premise as a catalyst for the humor, Futurama took a more philosophical approach, exploring theology and the relationships between men and whatever we consider gods.
Whoa, that's pretty deep.
Futurama's always been the master of hiding brilliance in plain sight, bridging the gap between comedy and arithmetic while bringing humanity into the science.
There's not a lot of things in that category, comedy science or comedy science fiction, so there weren't a lot of role models, and I think it took us a little while to figure out how to do that. But I think what ultimately happened is the more seriously we took the math and the science and the science fiction element, the better the comedy worked too, because we had sort of this serious setup side, and then the characters' petty concerns play very well as comedy against, the fate of the universe and billions of years of history and that kind of stuff. So really what we found to our surprise is take the science seriously, take the science fiction seriously, and the whole show works better that way.
It's got a broad toolbox at its disposal when constructing a narrative, and that allows it to tackle meaningful issues like global warming, multiculturalism, and racial prejudice. And explored through the lens of a cartoon, it doesn't have to sacrifice its comedic identity. Futurama understood that the future shapes a lesson for the present, and satire doesn't always need to be steeped in pessimism. Underneath that zany space adventure is an incredibly intimate story about love, friendship, and the significance of one person's role in the universe.
You're a pimple on society's ass, and you'll never amount to anything.
Futurama had a hell of a ride, and after 14 years and 7 seasons, it's going to be dearly missed. It's a show that touched millions of people by respecting the intelligence of its audience, and somehow found humor in academia. It may be gone for now, but after 4 different cancellations, you never know what the future may hold for this legendary piece of animation.